Bitcoin and things like it is the equivalent of the red pill.
This is a technology, it's a computing language, and I can build an app on it.
Is Bitcoin the currency of the future?
Crypto gang, it's the game, big gang, all gang, light gang, cash game, blockchain, whoa. I don't really ever buy stocks, man. No. Haters wanna say I'm in a bubble, man. No. Chew them up like bubble gum. No. Just made a meal with my pocket change. No. Wreck about to go and join the HODL gang. HODL gang, HODL gang, HODL gang. Crypto gang, it's the game, big gang.
Jason, I feel that this is going to be a very informative special show for our listeners tonight. It's not going to be your typical us bitching about football, you talking about $400 Yeezys that you bought, me throwing up hungover at a gas station in Wilmington, Delaware. I feel this episode, we're going to enlighten some folks here. Maybe.
It's a learning episode.
Or
they just put us on NPR.
Or we're just going to confuse the fuck out of people.
Probably
what do you
both.
think's going to happen?
Confusion.
And I know you wanted to talk about football this week.
Not so much. I'm over it.
You over it?
Actually, yeah, I'm kind of over it.
There's one game left. Can you go 2 weeks without talking about football?
Yeah, I think so. I think the excitement of the Rhinos winning kind of like, I'm just kind of coming down from that. I'm just over football at this point. I did want to shout out Derek Jeter made the Hall of Fame today.
Great. Way to start this fucking episode on a downturn. Fantastic.
Shut up.
Congratulations, Derek. I did want to point out that the Mets already fired their fucking manager, Carlos Beltran.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see that coming. That $100 bet's looking better and better for me every day.
That's just.
I haven't forgotten either.
I know you wrote it down. We're gonna change that bet from $100. We're gonna turn that into some
1,000.
We're gonna turn that into some cryptocurrency.
Oh.
And this Niners Chiefs by the end of this episode, we're gonna have a bet, and it's gonna be in cryptocurrency.
How much? Like 10,000 Bitcoin?
I have no idea. But I want to talk to our guest tonight. I want to bring him in. Okay, folks.
Okay.
Let me introduce a very special guest tonight. Okay, his name is Michael McDonald. All right, you might know him best from hit songs like "What a Fool Believes," "I Keep Forgetting," two of my all-time favorite songs. From the Doobie Brothers, ladies and gentlemen, Michael McDonald. I'm just kidding. His name's Michael
Ted.
McDonald. Yes. First of all, Michael McDonald, he's actually from a company called 3IEIEIOU. I got that right, Michael?
That was really close. Really close, Ted.
All right, please, for the love of God, what is the name of your company?
Well, I'm going to let you guys find the Easter egg. It'll happen at some point during this episode, but it's 3IEIO.
3IEIO.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like a puzzle.
Shit.
We're too dumb, Mike.
I specifically did not drink any alcohol for this podcast just to keep my brain a little sharper. So we'll see if we could hang with Michael tonight. Right. Now, Michael, Jason, he shot over some show notes to me about what you do, what your company does, and I read it all, and I still have no clue. So we're going to need you to break this down in English as to what you do and what 3IEIO does.
All right, yeah. I'll try to do my best to enlighten you guys in the audience. To put it simply, 3IEIO plays in a space that's up and coming. Microsoft is starting to talk about it a lot now. A lot of notable companies are chatting about the concept, and it's DID is the acronym. Stands for Decentralized Identities. But my background is in HR tech, human resources technology, and I worked for a company that has a pretty prominent employee engagement platform where they allow employees of a company to give meaningful recognition to each other. That meaningful meaning recognizing each other for a job well done that aligns to their employer's core values, It also calls out other data in those interactions, like skill sets that were demonstrated. What I noticed, though, were there were a few shortcomings or areas of improvement. And so 3IEIO was a project I took on after that company was acquired and I left to try to see if we could solve for some of those shortcomings. And the shortcomings were around the value of the data that was being captured, but the fact that the employees themselves couldn't actually claim ownership to it or have control over it. So if they left that company or they were ever in a situation where they could no longer log into the software that was used to provide those recognitions, well, that data was kind of gone and meaningless, albeit important to them in building what we're also calling workforce reputations, verified workforce reputations. So to tie off on all of that, we spend a lot of time at work. Most of us do. And there's a lot of things happening there, but we're trying to find ways that we can capture through these engagements with peers the data that's captured to be more, I guess, just immutable, and also allow the employee themselves to take ownership of that and to do what they will with it. So that's the best I can do right now, Ted, to give you kind of the layman explanation of what 3IEIO is, but I'll take a breath there.
Jason, you got all that, right?
It's all in my memory banks already.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause the podcast, rewind it, and listen to that really slow. Michael, how did you get into this? How did your career start, and what brought you up to that point? Like from high school, college. I'm assuming you're probably Jason's age. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, roughly 26.
26, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yep,
no,
fresh out of college.
Guys.
I wish I was. No, I'm in my 40s now.
Fresh out of college.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so how did I get started in all of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I started in sales. So my degree was at Michigan State was in industrial organizational psychology, but I jumped into a software sales role right out of school, and that was in the Microsoft ecosystem. And I stayed there, selling another acronym. I apologize, guys. ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning Software. Very boring, very
Big Daddy stuff.
Archaic. Yeah.
Well, we were both in software sales. We were both in software sales at one point, Jason. But how we have we went separate directions.
Yeah. So, it was pretty boring.
Yes.
Then this whole concept of SaaS, software as a service, came out. The whole subscription economy, meeting how companies can procure software. And I watched a lot of friends of mine leaving the Microsoft world and jumping into these fun startups, and some of them making a ton of money doing it, but nonetheless having a lot of fun. And Microsoft at the time wasn't making any real strides in that direction, so I stepped out and started joining some of these SaaS or software startup companies. That's what led me to a couple of HR tech companies. One was in knowledge retention, where they took a popular trivia game on the App Store and turned it around, turned the business model on its head, and started licensing it to companies, saying that, hey, if you guys learn something in a training session, we're going to redistribute that content to the trainees in the form of trivia games in this methodical way, and it's going to help them retain what they've learned. So that was fun, selling that one. And then from there, I moved on to the one I mentioned before around employee engagement and recognition. So that's kind of how I got started and brought me to present day where I'm at now.
I thought he was going to say like a gaming background there. Yeah, so I was in software sales for quite a few years, and it did bore me, and I think it bored me enough where I didn't want to go back. But we're talking Unix platform software. Ugh.
Oh wow,
that is boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Extremely
surprised
me
you
beat there, Ted.
survived as long as you did.
Oh my God, that company was they were dinosaurs. The company just did not want to even switch to a Windows platform. It was horrific. I had no interest in going back. None whatsoever.
Mike, was this the first?
That's why I have a podcast and I'm trying to get into horror movies now. That's how much I
there
did
you
not
go.
want to go back into software sales.
That's an interesting shift. Yeah, what's up, Jason?
Yeah, well, is 3IEIO the first company you've ever started up on your own?
Yeah, technically. Well, that was actually a legitimate company. So I've done a lot of, or not a lot. I've had a couple of small little companies that I never actually structured into an LLC or an S corp. So it's a first as far as that goes. Where I
Right.
decided, I was actually gonna. I wasn't gonna do this just for some scratch on the side. I was actually gonna do this, and because I believed in the purpose and the vision of it. So yeah.
So you're like all in on it. So so you have this idea. How did you go about like getting a prototype or like bringing it to a place where you had a viable product to go out there and sell or attempt to sell?
Yeah, so I started by going. I was fortunate in finding some college kids at UTD up here in Dallas, and namely this one student that was a senior at the time. He's now graduated, who headed up a group at UTD, which was a blockchain group,
Right.
Distributed ledger technology group, and he got all his buddies together and agreed to help me in this conference that I sponsored up here in Dallas for another distributed ledger technology called Hedera Hashgraph. It's a blockchain alternative. I won't get into that because that will definitely bore you guys.
No, Ted's all
on the
about
difference
this crypto and blockchain. Like he thinks
Oh,
he
yeah?
fancies himself a wizard.
Oh.
We'll get into that a little later, but
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
yeah, bore him with all of that because he loves
Okay.
it.
Consensus algorithms and
Yeah.
all that. Okay.
Love it.
Great. Well, so they actually decided to help me in a hackathon at this. That was part of this conference that I was sponsoring, and
Cool.
I rented out a suite and ordered a bunch of pizza. And for these guys, a 3-day hackathon, they thought it was the coolest thing ever, and they actually typed out a ton of code during that 3-day hackathon, and we actually had a working prototype.
Wow.
With APIs to this hash graph, to their test net at the time. They've now since launched their main net, and we can define that later. But so I was like, man, I actually have a functional prototype on my hands. So I let that set for a while. I kind of put it down for a little bit for various reasons, and then I couldn't put it down. It was keeping me up at night. And I thought about maybe going out and raising a little bit of seed money to build the MVP, the minimum viable product. Long story short, I decided to actually just take all the risk on myself, and I just funded it myself. Took out a loan, actually,
Nice.
business loan, and wrote a big check of money I didn't have, and we've since built an MVP. And now we're at a point where we've got some guinea pigs, some beta sites lined up of some notable brands that we'll rename Nameless for right now. And we also have a partnership with a couple of employee engagement platforms because 3IEIO isn't meant to be a standalone solution. It actually is better thought of as a feature to fill the gaps of employee engagement platforms that are already on the market.
Nice.
I want to get back to this hackathon. What happens during a hackathon? Should I be
It
turning
was
my
my-
cell phone off right now talking to you?
No. It's not what you think. It's not like they're actively hacking into software. They call it a hackathon.
I'm just thinking of like the
It's
hackathons that they have in Vegas.
Like, yeah, no, completely different thing. They're not trying to like crack software. They're making software. They just call them hackathons.
That's what they're making software. Sounds like they're stealing software. Don't call it a hackathon next time. That's a bad spin. You need a marketing guy to come up with something better than
cool.
hackathon.
It sounds cool.
It does, but
It's
it sounds
better
like they're
than
stealing.
make-a-thon.
Create-a-thon.
Jesus, yeah, create-a-thon. That's lame, man. Hackers.
Yeah, no, hackathon does.
That's
sound cool.
all programmers fancy themselves as hackers.
You have to be smart to be a hacker.
Exactly.
You have to be.
That's why all programmers fancy themselves as hackers, because they all
Like-
think they're smart.
I can hack into your phone if I like look over your shoulder and see which way you draw your little line on your phone. That's about my skill set for hacking. I'd love to be a hacker.
Of course.
Of course, I would love.
So
I would also like to know.
Are you living in Dallas now, Mike?
Yeah, just north of Dallas, Frisco.
Okay.
Frisco, Texas.
Cool.
Yeah,
And I
Well,
thought
so the
all
company's based out of Dallas.
it is.
Now, Jason,
Yeah.
you were telling me all the cool startup companies, all the tech companies. They're going to be in Austin. But I'm hearing a lot of Dallas stuff now.
Dallas is great. It's booming again with the software.
Yeah, it is. Well, we've got the partner that I mentioned before is based out of Austin, one of them, and so is the blockchain is based out of Austin.
Nice.
That we've written to
Now,
for the beta.
explain the term blockchain, because you're hearing this every single day. Blockchain, 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 blockchain. Most people don't know what a blockchain is. They've heard of it, but they just have no clue what a blockchain is. And when I say most people, Jason, I'm raising my hand here.
Yeah.
I'll look like the dummy for the people that are listening right now and are saying, "Oh, I know what a blockchain is."
You'll
as they
play
lean
the
in a
role
little
of
bit.
the dummy. Yeah.
Yes, I'll play the role of the dummy.
Yeah.
Just for the
you're
audience.
you're
I know
acting
exactly
right
what
now.
I know exactly what it is. I'll let Michael explain it to the listeners.
Just put me on the spot. Yeah, well, first of all, quick disclosure. I have a sales background. I already told you what my degree was in, so I am by no means technically inclined, but I know enough to be dangerous.
Nice.
Like
so,
all good salesmen, you know enough to be
yeah.
dangerous.
I like this guy.
know enough to
Know
be
enough
dangerous.
to get the contract signed.
That's right. Then you're on your own. No, so the simplest definition for blockchain is it's a data structure. It seeks to put an end to centralized databases that are often hacked, since we're talking about hackathons, and where data can be manipulated, where a single source kind of governs and owns that data. So a blockchain is a ledger of data. The reason why they call it a blockchain is because it actually represents itself as blocks of ledgers on chains. So but the idea is that once that the data kind of exists everywhere and nowhere. There's these things called nodes in a blockchain ecosystem that go through all these math proofs and 2/3 majority. This is what I mentioned earlier, Ted, of these consensus algorithms. So when someone wants to write something to the blockchain, a piece of data, it actually gets verified through those nodes and through different consensus algorithms. So once the data is written to the blockchain, it's there immutably, forever, in perpetuity, and it's verified that it's true. So that's the simplest definition I can give.
Exactly.
Thank you.
What Michael said. Exactly. I could have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now
You chose to stand mute.
Oh, I have 25 terms that I pulled up for like just blockchain and new tech terminology, crypto terminology. And maybe if we have time, we'll get to it and see how well he can explain it to
you're gonna quiz
the
him?
audience. Huh?
Quiz him? You're going to test his knowledge?
I mean, he already nailed blockchain, and that was number 4 on my list. I don't know if he's prepared for a quiz,
That'd be
but
fun.
But damn,
That might
dude,
be
doesn't
fun.
that sounds like some dark web shit, right? You know me, Jason. I'm I want to be that crypto dark web blockchain guy, right?
Yeah, you do.
How do you even get to the dark web? Like where is it? I want to get there.
Google it.
I want to be part of it.
Pornhub.com, maybe.
Is that what they call the dark web? Is it
pretty much? Yeah, it's the start of it.
I thought it was when you bring up your browser and it says, "Would you like to browse in private?" It takes you to that, that darker web page. Is that the dark web?
No, I don't think so.
Michael, how do I get to the dark web? Damn it!
You can Bing it.
Yeah, Bing it.
Bing it.
Yeah.
Just Bing it.
Bing. How do I get to the dark web? Hey, try it real quick. Try it on your new computer, Ted.
With Michael attached to this Google Hangout, he's a hacker, and him just railing off about blockchain, hackathons, I'm not Googling anything. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn my VPN on right now, and I might disconnect.
That's fine. How long are these episodes usually, Ted?
4 hours.
Oh, that gives me enough time.
4 hours. He hits the disconnect button on the Hangout like right now. I'm not doing 4 hours of this shit.
No, we typically run about 45 minutes to an hour. We don't like going over any longer than an hour. It happens from time to time if we have somebody interesting on, or if we're just rambling and we've had too much to drink. Now, your hopes for your company, you said you're working with some partners right now, and you said you didn't want to mention them. But what type of companies are you recruiting for something like this that you do? Is it anybody and everybody?
Yeah, it really is. Anyone that has a staff or a team. So that could be not-for-profit organizations, for-profit organizations, government organizations. So, yeah, it's pretty horizontal as far as that goes. The ones that I'm recruiting right now is, you could probably imagine, are the more notable brands. The idea is that, if these 5 companies strategically selected are willing to try this out, then so are we. So I'm kind of trying to take that approach with it.
Okay, and one of the things that Jason said, too, is that I guess a couple things with 3IEIO is he has jotted down here that there's cleaner, more reliable data sets, private key verification, the option of incorporating a digital currency versus fiat. Mm-hmm. Can you dig into that a little bit more?
Yeah, so one thing about collecting behavioral data from people is that it's very subjective. And so a lot of times, not a lot of times, but a lot of these solutions have incorporated ways to make it more data centric. And one way of doing that is by offering points. So if you and I, Ted, were working in the same company, I want to recognize you for staying late and helping me hit a deadline.
Oh, thank you.
I call out a core value of teamwork makes the dream work, or whatever it is. I call out some skill sets. And then I can also elect to give you some points with that. And those points, you can use those points. You can save them up and use them to redeem for certain things that might motivate you, whether it's some new AirPods in the company catalog or to donate to your favorite charity. So I really like that philosophy. But the idea is that those points, to give them a monetary value, there's some challenges. You run into compensation laws in different countries. You run into the fairness issue of, okay, if a point in that system translates to 1 U.S. penny per point, well, does that really translate into true fairness to my employees that are in Malaysia,
Sure.
for example? So digital currency kind of wipes all that out, as well as the regulation on fiat.
Gotcha. That makes total and perfect sense. You're familiar with the Brave browser? Go ahead, Jason.
I got the Easter egg.
Already?
3IEIO. Old McDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Oh, Jesus. See, I'm going with the Michael McDonald thing, and he's the farmer. Damn it.
You're thinking Doobie Brothers, man.
Yeah. What a fool believes.
He's farming that employee data.
I keep
love
forgetting.
it.
Right.
I love it.
Oh, Damn. You know what? He's got this nice Midwestern name, Michael McDonald. All right. He's got this catchy name for his company. Okay. But the more you realize what he's doing, he literally is Big Brother. Michael McDonald's Big Brother. We have Big Brother on the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
It's coming for you. By the way, Michael, if you go back to some of our previous episodes, I love doing the conspiracy theory thing. Love it. As Jason, I'm definitely the guy that walks around with the black tape on his cameras.
Yep. That's why he's into crypto and stuff, because he's afraid. He puts all his money in his pillowcase and shit like that, hides it all over the house.
Not my pillowcase, Coinbase.
Whatever.
Well, you're the opposite, though. You have not converted any of your fiat to crypto, correct?
Myself?
No, I'm talking to Jason.
I don't
Jason
even know what the
owns
fuck
zero...
fiat is. What the fuck is fiat?
Okay. Can I explain this one to him, Michael?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so
Seth.
fiat currency is actually like U.S. dollars, okay? Like real cash, okay?
Okay.
I believe that's correct, okay?
I have gold bars, but I don't use paper
Were you in
money
Dubai
anymore.
last week? Did you go to one of the ATM machines in Dubai and withdraw some gold
Yes.
bars?
I did, because I needed some walking around cash.
So, Michael, Jason that has no interest in cryptocurrency. I find it fascinating. And now, one of the things I want to ask you, are you familiar with the Brave web browser?
I am.
Okay, and I like what they're doing there with the basic attention token. Sort of similar to what maybe you're designing, except for employers, correct?
Yeah. That's a good comparison. Yep.
Damn, see, I know what the hell I'm talking about, Jason. So
Look at you, man.
let me sort of explain in my world what the basic attention token is. So Brave created this web browser. If you go onto their browser, they strip out all of the ads, and then you could sign up to donate and earn basic attention tokens, which are BATs. And your favorite websites you could turn on for donations and stuff like that, or you could choose to keep the rewards by turning all the ads on, and they either target the ads or it's like ad placement, and you sort of control what you want to see and what you don't want to see, and you could donate your BATs to BAT verified websites. A BAT right now, a basic attention token, is worth 21 cents on the US dollar, but as that market grows, and Brave's one of the fastest growing browsers in the world right now, and if you use it, it's fucking fantastic. I love it much better than Chrome or Explorer or Edge or any of them. It just loads so much faster, so much cleaner.
You're selling it better than Bill Burr does. Okay.
What's that? Basic attention token?
The Brave browser.
Oh, he actually uses it?
He butchers it. If you listen to his reads. So yeah, he's sponsored by Brave.
I did not know that. Are you kidding me?
I guess you don't listen to his podcast.
I do listen to his podcast. I had no clue.
I guess you don't listen. But yes, the Nameless Chaos podcast brought to you by the Brave web browser.
Donate some basic attention tokens right to it. I actually own some BATs. Not a lot, but just enough. You know, just
you
in
want to
case.
sell me some? I'll give you 10 cents for every one.
Why? They're worth 21 cents right now.
I'll give you a real nickel dimes for each one.
No. Because the value of these could skyrocket.
Yeah. But I'll give you hard cash right now.
I have Bitcoin.
I'll give you one gold bar for all your BTUs or whatever the fuck they are.
I have some Bitcoin. I have some Ethereum. I have some XRP. I have some BAT. And I have a little something called Casino Coin. I believe I dropped that on you a couple weeks ago. Pay attention to Casino Coin. It's a small project right now, but it could gain some traction. But to the extent the Brave browser, Michael, is similar to what you're trying to work towards, correct?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, it is. So the whole cryptocurrency aspect of 3IEIO is more of an afterthought. It's not part of this of the first phase.
Okay.
Right now, we're just focused on verified reputations. So it's more of tokenizing behavioral assets.
Okay.
We're not really looking to replace the point system in an employee engagement platform with the digital currency. That will come later. I'm not, and the reason, there's several reasons for that, but the primary reason is I don't know if the enterprise market's ready for that quite yet, to adopt a cryptocurrency.
I'm ready.
And that opens up a whole other can of worms. So
Jason's not ready. I'm ready.
No, I'm not, and I don't I don't work for enterprise companies. I'm against it.
I'm against it.
Yeah, I'm against it. I like the smaller companies. You make more money there, I think.
Sounds like you need to go to a rally, Jason.
A rally. So is it's a tongue twister. 3IEIO. Is it going to be a SaaS product? So will companies have to pay for like a subscription to it in order to hook it into like their company info?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, kind of going back to, if you look at it as a feature to an existing proven employee engagement software platform that's already out there, it will be licensed through just a small a la carte upcharge to the customer that wants to add that feature.
Gotcha.
And offer that to their employees.
So you partner with that engagement platform, and like you're offering, you charge. I guess I'm wondering what the relationship is with the engagement platform, like how the mechanics of that work. Do they pay you? Do you pay them to like have your a la carte offering in there? How does that partnership work, or in your head?
Yeah, so it's they will own the relationship with the end customer. They will support the product. We're just going to license the intellectual property to the engagement platform company.
So it's kind of like a car dealer might sell you an extended warranty or some like a butler service or something. Not to call your product, not to compare it to that, but it's an upsell type thing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is an upsell. So the whole 3IEIO brand, there's not going to be a big brand splash and commercials or social media ads. There'll just be educational content to kind of educate the market, help educate the market on the concept.
No T-shirts or bumper stickers like Nameless Chaos?
No. Not yet.
Jeez.
Not yet.
Jeez. What type of company is this?
We might do some koozies. That's about it, though.
We're going to send you a Nameless Chaos sticker so you can put on your laptop and or your cooler or the back of your SUV.
I'd love it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, we got you. We got you covered. So you talked about like employees owning their work identity. So right now we have like resumes and LinkedIn, but it's hard keeping up with all that, right? Like I have to go update my LinkedIn profile for every little like certification I get, or but it doesn't even have things like my peers recognizing me, like getting someone to actually send me what do they call it on LinkedIn? Like it's not a referral. Recommendation, that's what it is. Yeah. Getting someone to actually give you a recommendation on LinkedIn is like pulling teeth.
Yeah, it is. Or it's a bunch of bullshit too, because I see people that just kind of trade off, and so that's the whole point. And then the endorsements. Like I can go on your LinkedIn profile right now, Jason, and endorse you for some skill set.
Yeah.
And then
blockchain.
LinkedIn. What's that?
Endorse me for blockchain.
For blockchain, exactly. I'll endorse you for blockchain, cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I know.
And then LinkedIn will say, "Hey, pay the favor back," and then you can turn around and endorse me for whatever. So it's not verified, and
right.
It's highly subjective. So this says no. How about taking skill sets and other things that are called out from real interactions that happen throughout any given day while you're at work, while you're in the office or wherever work is.
Yeah. So yeah, my leading up to that, my question was, do you see this like in your head replacing a resume or a LinkedIn if it gets big enough, right?
It could. So here's here's the key. That right now it's tough to go out to an individual user and say, hey, sign up for this. Create a private key on this blockchain. But so the easier way to do that is say, well, how about when the company that you work for is giving you this employee engagement platform to use, and so if a company has 1,000 employees and they select 3IEIO for this feature, they're effectively signing up 1,000 users with 1,000 private keys to the blockchain. So the ecosystem's getting built out in batches by no risk really to the employee. The employer is taking on all the risk because they see the business value and offering their employees to build their personal brand will allow the company to build its brand. And a bunch of other taglines that we've come up with for why this concept should work and be viable. So so the whole idea is that they will though be signed up with a private key. And first, it'll just be capturing data that's captured in the employee engagement platform. But keep in mind, this is a real person with a private key identity on a blockchain, so you can use it for other things as they become available, like, the verification that you achieved an education credential from a university or passed a certification. And so once all those other things become more mass market accepted, well, we already, hopefully by that time, we'll have hundreds of thousands of users on a blockchain with private keys to add those credentials to. So that's the idea.
I love it.
Blockchain
awesome.
is really the wave of the future. I mean, it really is. Now, let me. I know you don't have a gaming background, Michael. You haven't worked for a gaming company or anything like that, but this you called like a proof of work, or what was the term that you used?
Proof of concept.
Correct. Well, it's just you have that. You're talking like peer recognition and stuff like that, and that's all in your private key. Think about this. Gamers have been doing this for the longest time. Go to a Steam account right now. Click on somebody. You can see all their accomplishments, achievements, what levels they are, and stuff like that. It's almost like that to a way, except for employees, essentially. Employees in that industry. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant concept. It really is. And you were just talking about your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is. Did you just call LinkedIn antiquated?
Certain parts of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, always invest in something that you don't understand, Jason. Remember, there's this little thing. It was called an iPhone when it first came out, and I remember Ionis the Greek. All right, he bought one of these things, and he goes,
"Yeah,
hey, look, I could get the internet on my cell phone." I said, "You're a fucking idiot for paying $40 a month to get the internet on your phone. I could go to my desk and get the internet for free." Yeah.
Where are you going with this story?
I'm just telling you,
Jesus.
We're going back to you and you being so against this blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Okay, you're becoming that guy. You're becoming 2008 Ted.
I understand blockchain. I don't understand the crypto concept. The money aspect of it. Like, I get the decentralized like verification of everything, right? I understand that the way it was explained. What I don't understand is like the finite amount of bitcoins and shit like that, and how they like there's a market for it. I don't understand that aspect.
All right,
of it.
maybe Michael.
That's
maybe
why I don't invest in it.
Michael, maybe you could shed a little light, because let's start with the first crypto ever created, Bitcoin. Bitcoin, according to the algorithms, only 21 million Bitcoins can never be mined. They're actually creating a big mining facility right outside of Austin. Okay, now what can you enlighten us on when it comes to Bitcoin? Now, I don't want to get into a whole bunch of the altcoins, but Bitcoin in general.
Yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, I will admit I actually don't own any cryptocurrency myself. I've traded Dogecoin on the Robinhood
Did
app.
you really?
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Now, that's like
Dogecoin.
a joke coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm probably not the best person, Ted, to shine light on how does a cryptocurrency create and sustain value better than a fiat. And when it comes to Bitcoin and the mining for Bitcoin and that whole bit, I'm probably not the best person to explain that aspect of it. So
Yeah, and that's my only thing is a lot of people don't understand it. And again,
He's working directly with blockchain.
Who?
Michael.
yeah.
Yeah, he's working with blockchain tech. Is it the original blockchain tech, or is it a different one?
No, it's different. It is a blockchain, but we've also built to a blockchain alternative called Hashgraph, which is more, instead of blocks on chains, it's more of think of like weaving a rug, and there's no need to mine. So it has the whole point about mining blockchain goes into how that blockchain reaches a consensus, an agreement for data that's written to the blockchain. And so there's blockchain alternatives right now that are coming out that I think are really interesting, that say, you know what, that's totally inefficient. It still has shortcomings to do blockchains and consensus algorithms, proof of work, proof of economy, different types of consensus algorithms. So I'm really interested in some of these new ones that are coming out, like virtual voting is one of them that I've been kind of geeking out on a little bit.
Virtual voting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, imagine applying the whole blockchain verification to voting systems, because it's super corruptible right now, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely is. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and that was when I left that employee engagement software company and moved back here to Dallas. Hashgraph was the first distributed ledger technology that I actually started to dive into and learned about. So there's a little bit of baby chick syndrome there. I kind of drank that Kool-Aid first, but the whole concept, though, Jason, of distributed ledger technology. here's an example I'll give you, and maybe this will help you kind of appreciate it a little bit more. So imagine if you needed to send money or transact something with someone that you didn't know, you have no idea who they are, and they're in an entirely different part of the world, and you needed to send them $5. Today, to do that, you actually would need to send it through like a Western Union, some sort of middleman to verify, to create the relationship temporarily and verify that you are who you say you are and they are who they say they are. And then they're going to charge a fee for that service just so you can send that $5, and you're going to pay $20 just to send it. Mm-hmm. So cryptocurrency on a blockchain or on a distributed ledger technology says you can actually transact things of value, whether it's money or something else, with another party, and you don't have to have an existing relationship with them. You don't even have to verify with them that they are who they are, because the blockchain in which you're transacting on already does that for you.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's actually a really good example. And like I said, I understand the verification part of it. I don't understand the currency aspect of it, and whether or not that currency will hold its value. That's the part that I don't quite understand. That's why I don't invest in it. Warren Buffett said it the best: if you don't understand something, don't invest in it.
That's exactly when you should invest into it. Exactly.
Exactly. No.
When the kids,
that's why I don't.
When the kids are all about it, okay, and your old, almost 50-year-old ass doesn't understand it, that's when you invest into it, okay? When the kids are all about it, they got their Cash App cards, they're converting shit into Bitcoin. I was at the
Giant.
whole
401k into it, right? All of it. Just go all in.
I was at the Giant of today, right? And one of those Coinstar machines, it literally says on the Coinstar machine, convert your cash into your change into Bitcoin. it pays you back in Bitcoin.
Nice.
That, I don't know. That tells you something. I don't know what the hell it tells you, but
Yeah.
tells you, when this thing goes ballistic and I own like a quarter of a Bitcoin and it's worth $5 million, my microphone's going to be nicer than yours.
So, but what happens when they're like, we lose all electricity and stuff and there's no internet? What are you going to do with your
What is this,
Bitcoin
Night of
then?
the Comets? What are we expecting, a comet or something?
Maybe. Who
What do we
knows?
mean lose electricity? You've been watching too much Walking Dead, Mister. If we lose all electricity, you think dollars are going to be worth anything? You know what's going to be worth? Shit is going to be food and ammunition.
Bullets.
Yes,
Bullets.
I got all that too. Trust me.
Yeah, we'll have to recreate economies and start trading seashells and tulips again.
Yeah, shit is worth
Turtle shells.
Shit is worth what it's worth to humans. It doesn't matter whether it's fiat, whether it's guns, food, goats.
You go all in. You let me know how crypto turns out for you. By the way, you never answered my question, Ted. How much money have you made off crypto? How much have you actually sold?
Probably up a couple thousand. I haven't sold any.
Then you haven't made shit.
No, I haven't.
It's not real until you sell.
What are you talking about? It's
Number
real on
one
either
rule
side.
of investing. No, it's not real until you sell.
It's real.
It's all fucking funny money and it's make believe until you actually sell it. If you own stocks, you can say I'm up $10,000, but until you actually execute the trade, you're not up shit, and it could tank tomorrow.
You know what though? I could literally just hit convert to USD instantly.
Do it.
It converts to USD because it's not some old fiat currency like what Michael was saying. It's got to verify between the banks and the person, blah, blah, blah. I got to wait 2-3 days, and then I got to go to the ATM machine and put my PIN in, put my card with the chip, and then take it out. Nope, it just converts instantly. Just like that.
Well, do it.
That's why that's why I think it has a really good future in this world with blockchain technology and companies like Michael's, where who's contemplating the rewards point system. If you have some international company and they're trying to reward their employees in the United States or in Morocco or doing the same job, you're going to have something like that. Look at people in Venezuela right now. I mean, their dollar or whatever their currency is just plummeting, and they're just scooping up Bitcoin. It's a safe haven for them. So it's more of a globe. So it's more of a as things progress in this world, it's becoming more and more of a global economy. Wouldn't you agree, Michael?
Yeah, I think it is. When people think of cryptocurrency and tokenization of assets, it's easy to start thinking about like financial services. So I think that's why, when Bitcoin first came out and distributed ledger technology, blockchain technology first came out, we immediately started gravitating towards, all right, how can we create digital wallets and start, changing some of the ways we move money and tangible assets around. But that's one of the things that I like about 3IEIO is, we're kind of saying, you know what, there's other things of value, and they might actually lend themselves as better use cases for distributed ledger technology. So until the rest of it meets mass market acceptance and it gets past, Uncle Sam and other governments and other regulations, which might take a while, I don't know. We're going to focus on some of the other, use cases that might be more applicable and more sooner to have people will have an appetite for. So.
The future is very complex. I miss the old Commodore 64, Jason. Jesus Christ, my head's about to explode after this conversation. we got. You're in Dallas, right? You're in Dallas, Michael.
With the company.
Well,
want to plug with it?
I was about to say
said anything else about the company you want to plug.
He's in Dallas
that we didn't cover.
He needs to get on Shark Tank in front of fucking Mark Cuban. That's his next partner.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
There you go.
Have you applied? Have you applied for Shark Tank?
Heck no.
You don't want to be eaten by the sharks?
I see Mark Cuban's brother at the Starbucks I go to.
Really?
A lot. Yeah. Nice. But no, I don't think that's a tree I'll ever try to bark up.
You want 25%? His big head poking into your business?
Oh, man. Yeah.
No offense to Mr. Cuban, but
I don't think he's listening.
He's probably. Yeah, well, you never know. You never know.
I don't think he's one of our listeners. Oh, by the way, speaking of listeners, Jason, I said I was going to do it real quick. The Philippines are now part of the Nameless Chaos community.
Yeah.
Nice.
Welcome, Philippines.
A couple things about the Philippines.
Filipinos.
Couple things about the Philippines real quick, okay? It's the world's number 2 producer and exporter of coconuts. Did you know
I
that?
drink a lot of coconut water.
And Filipinos love their shopping malls. Did you know that? Some of the
I did
biggest
not know
shopping
that.
malls in the world are found in the Philippines. The SM Mall of Asia, SM Mega Mall, and the SM North EDSA.
Huh.
Yep, some of the largest pearls in the world come from the Philippines.
Blowing my mind here.
And not only that, they have some of the most devastating volcanic eruptions in the world. In the
Where
world.
do they rate with tsunamis?
And
It's up there, isn't it?
they're up there, but I think Indonesia's got them beat.
Yeah.
And they love blockchain and cryptocurrency, as do we. All right, I just made that last part up. I had no fucking clue. No clue. Hey, so, Michael, before we get out of here, and I do have that list up, and we can run through it real quick. Common crypto and blockchain terms. Let's see if we could put all this into English real quick, and then anything else you want to talk about your company, and then we'll wrap it up for the night. Cryptography. The hell does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Cryptography.
I'm probably gonna butcher this one, but cryptography, because I'm sure it's much more simpler than what I'm gonna try to jumble together as far as the definition. But cryptography to me is just the science or the concept of taking something and turning it into and digitizing it in a cryptographic sense, meaning that it has an absolute and immutable value or state.
We've already touched currency, cryptocurrency, blockchain.
Did he get it right?
How the hell do I know, man? I don't have the answer. What do I look like, Alex Trebek?
You
No,
just
he
got
did
the,
it.
You got
He
the
did it.
terms with no definitions?
He did it for me in a question. He got it wrong.
Okay, great.
No, I
horrible.
just literally pulled like the top 15 terms. I'm sorry, 25 terms.
With no definitions.
Nah, I forgot that part. I figured he'd know him. He
All right, what's the next one?
Seems like an honest guy, except for the whole hacking background thing. Altcoins.
Altcoins, yeah. Again, not a big cryptocurrency guy, but altcoins to me are just alternative cryptocurrencies to the mainstream ones like Bitcoin and some of the others that are out there that are more popular. So that's
Michael. I'm gonna need you to do some homework on Casino Coin before we bring you back on the next show.
I already took note of that earlier, Ted.
Did you?
I'm interested.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Let that thing get to $1. Jesus. Distributed ledger.
I think he covered that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Mining.
Yeah, mining or just data, not decentralized data sets. So it's not data that exists not in a centralized database, but on all the nodes in a given ecosystem.
You talked about private key, public key. You talked about the address. 13, 14, 15 are on here. Fork, soft fork, hard fork. You hear those terms a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. So I mentioned some of these third and fourth generation blockchains or third and fourth generation distributed ledger technologies. Some of these consensus algorithms have come up with ways that won't allow for forking in a blockchain. So forking in a blockchain, because it's all open source, means that someone can technically create a fork to a chain of blocks. And there's issues with that where you can actually have like double spending. It actually makes it susceptible to certain attacks. So these were some of the shortcomings in early blockchain technology. So forking in my vocabulary is actually not a good thing.
He's against forking.
I'm against forking. I'm going to make a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah, against forking. Yeah, that's a good one.
No forking at the workplace.
3IEIO against forking.
And then they have, let's see, exchange. Well, we went through the wallets, so wallet, paper wallet, hardware wallet, software wallet. Fungible?
Oh, man. See, now you're getting into like accounting terms.
Oh.
So fungible applies to currencies in my recollection, and so it just means it defines a currency that is usable, I guess.
Okay.
No, that's not a good. Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna look it up. Can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm going to answer the last one. The last one is HODL, HODL. Now, do you know what HODL is, Jason? Without going to the Brave browser.
I know, but I want to see if you know.
Of course I know. So there was a Reddit thread, and some guy was writing an article, or there was a post, and he's telling everyone that they basically need to hold their Bitcoin because it's going to skyrocket, except he spelled it wrong. He wrote HODL, and now everybody calls it,
like Hodor?
instead of holding
Hodor.
your Bitcoin, it's called HODL. Matter of fact, there is even a crypto website called the Daily HODL, because it's just the cool chic thing to call holding your Bitcoin HODL.
That's you.
HODL. Hold the Bitcoin. Hold the Bitcoin.
There's even a rap video out there about HODL, isn't there?
Is there really? That's funny.
We're going to have to find that one.
Definitely
We might
have to
open the
find that one.
podcast with that. If I can find it.
That's funny. So did you find fungible?
Yeah, I did. I butchered it. But so fungible definition here is relating to goods contracted for without an individual specimen being specified, able to replace or be replaced by another identical item, mutually interchangeable.
Sort of like my co-host Jason. He's pretty fungible.
This is true. You can say the same for you because Blake seamlessly took your place.
Oh, jeez. I
have been on every podcast. Have you?
I am totally going to incorporate fungible into my vocabulary like 10 times tomorrow. Just going to fucking make everybody's head
I might do
explode.
the same.
I feel like Mike, you went up about 8 points tonight.
I did, yeah. All right.
Yeah, mine went up a few points, I think.
Absolutely. I think
We're
this is the first...
starting from very, very low IQ, so
This
to
is the
go
fir-
up
This
is
might be
easy.
the first time our listeners, they actually learned something on this podcast, and their IQ points went up, not down, by the end of the show.
Yep.
All right, well,
Thank
Michael,
goodness for that.
it was nice having you on. A couple more things you want to tell us about the company? Anything you want to plug with your company?
No, nothing really to plug, but I will just say, 2020 is the year. I've been, this has been, I started as a passion project. It's been ideating and iterating over the last 2.5 years, 2 years almost. So, coming on shows like this and speaking about it publicly is definitely part of it. Now that we've got the MVP built, so look out, world. 3IEIO
and
is coming.
Yeah.
If you get some
It's your
clients,
year.
if you get some clients in the Philippines, I'm just saying, it's probably because of us.
Yeah, I'll send you the finder's fee.
If somebody from the
is
Philippines contacts
also.
you and Mark Cuban contacts you, I'm just saying.
Yep, Dogecoin coming your way, man.
Elon Musk, Mark Cuban,
yeah.
and the Philippines. Here we go.
Spend that Doge currency.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Michael McDonald from 3IEIO. And I'm so pissed off that Jason got that Easter egg before me. God damn it.
I got it.
It
just came to me like an epiphany.
Beat me to it. I was too busy actually paying attention, not trying to figure out the puzzle. Damn it. All right, folks, let's get out of here. It was a good show, Jason.
Yes.
Next week we're going to have to dump it.
Thanks for coming on, Mike.
Absolutely, Michael. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Folks, as always, Nameless Chaos is based on your feedback, so please keep it coming. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and you can even follow us on Facebook. If you're a tweeter, follow us on Twitter at NamelessChaos_. After I stop recording, I'm going to talk to Michael about how to get this show on the dark web and how to get some Nameless Chaos crypto blockchain, right? What do you think about that, Jason? Get this show on the dark web?
Yeah, as long as I own 50% of everything.
Some Silk Road. You know, that's how Epstein, by the way, that's how Epstein got all those Russian hookers to Sin Island. It's Bitcoin.
That was the lure?
I don't know. I just made that up.
How come
good,
you
though.
didn't end up there?
My quarter of a Bitcoin that I was just not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough. Also, hey, Noctambulous, the movie, check it out on Amazon Prime. Our buddy Johnny Dagger's homage to the silent horror films of the early 1900s, starring Nadia White, Lauren Peel, creepy cool flick. Check out my boy Johnny Dagger's flick, Noctambulous, on Amazon Prime. Also, 21090 Brewing. Turns out Johnny and I might be appearing on their channel soon. If you enjoy a pint of ale or a dozen like we do from time to time, check out Todd and the Gang on their YouTube channel, 21090 Brewing, 2TEN90 Brewing. And lastly, if you still want to contact us directly, even though we advise against it, but hey, if you insist, you can reach us by email, contact@namelesschaos.net. For my co-host, and tonight I feel like he might not have been the smartest guy in the room. He's Jason Wright. I'm Ted Bodner. And this is Nameless Chaos.